do the other accents work? Is it like
I don't know.
Luke Cage?
Nope, don't do that one. There are good movies and there are great movies. Neither of those are what we watch here because this is shitty cinema. Shitty cinema is therapy because we love movies and we hate ourselves. That's why we wade through the sewers of Hollywood and beyond for movies to make fun of based on our theme of the month. I'm Jay, and I'm joined by Dave.
Hello.
Casey.
Hello.
And Juice.
Oi. Mike.
We're the exotic ones.
This is really dreadful. Casey,
Australian now?
why don't you...
No, I'm Amy Winehouse. I'm fucked up and I change accent.
Why don't you take us through this week's episode? What's going on?
200 Miles Per Hour is a fantastic film that parks itself nicely into the theme of tits and tires. Not only is this a movie about racing, ? 1/3 of the movie takes place in the Cat One, which is a strip club. Yes, Jay.
Ooh, Casey. Ooh,
Yes.
I'm having a tough time. What's Tits and Tires Month about?
Well, I like a movie that has two things. 1, tits, 2, tires. Movies about racing, any kind of machine, and oh yeah, there's got to be some tiggle bitties involved.
Hey, Titty Ticker, are you ticking the different accents Casey is doing during this episode?
Oh, no, I should have, though.
It's not an
keep
accent,
tally.
it's a speech impediment, so thank you for bringing that up.
She's going through about as many as the main character's mother did in one profanity.
I'm really channeling the redhead. I also want to bring that same energy.
Like, she said fuck with 4 different vowels in it. I don't know how that works.
Anyway, 200 Miles Per Hour was the knockoff of Fast and the Furious 5 or whatever. I don't fucking keep track of those
Whichever
movies.
one came out in 2011.
Yeah, that one. So it takes all the best and worst parts of that movie with about 1/100th of the budget.
So, Juice, you're up for an elevator pitch.
This is Juice's movie.
This is Juice's movie.
He deserves this death more than any of us.
Right.
I've really been trying to keep quiet over here in the corner so you would all forget that this was my movie.
I kind of did for a second with I was getting mad at Casey like,
Yeah, I felt that energy. Fuck
working.
you, dude.
Juice is ducking his
you were
responsibility.
describing it.
Juice, are you prepared to die?
Yeah. You are behind the wheel of your souped up supercar. That baby's already running at 50 psi. You didn't know what that meant when they told you, but you just kind of nodded like that was an okay thing.
I mean, I figured my Ford Focus could probably take it.
Yeah. It's really not. So you decided to hit the NOS button to see if it helps, and it did not either. So the engine's just caught fire. You're careening towards a brick wall. You've got 10 seconds on the clock to describe what you just made us watch.
Oh, man. Revenge plot meets car porn with shitty CGI and even shittier acting.
5 seconds.
Yeah, that was great.
That was
And
really good.
Spot on accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't disagree
Let's
with it.
save you 86 minutes or however long this took.
Yeah, no, that's about right. But unfortunately, Casey,
Yeah.
I can't save you the next the next 10 seconds of your life. Because as I'm spouting this and I finish and I look in my rearview mirror, you're fucking grabbing onto my spoiler. What the fuck are you doing?
I was up there tanning because it was warm, and then you just fucking took off. I didn't know. I was a little drunk, and I was kind of taking a nap.
Well, I mean, here we are. We're about to smash into this wall. Give me a reason to live.
Strippers motivate 2 men to die in street races. Gun for a third unsuccessfully. Mom boobs.
6 seconds with
6
the mom
seconds.
boobs.
Mom boobs times
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, I know.
Mom boobs.
Mom boobs.
As we crash
That's important.
through the wall into the strip club.
You're the one who brought this on us. Did you realize who the asylum was when you did, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
What is the asylum?
They are the ones who created this movie. They basically exclusively make stuff to try and trick your grandma into buying it at Kmart.
We have watched movies like that in the past. I didn't know
Quite
they
a
had
few.
any.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like what's all the ones that like the Van Damme movies and shit were in the 80s?
Well,
Canon films. Is this
Yeah.
like this era's
Yeah.
canon
Yeah,
films?
Similar.
very
They,
Okay.
they were responsible for the Almighty Thor. Unrelated
the
to
one
Thor
we watched?
Party, which
Oh,
we
yeah.
watched, yeah.
Ugh.
They gave us
No.
Snakes on a Train.
Which we need to watch.
Those snakes are afraid of heights, God damn it.
Yeah. Atlantic Rim, unrelated to Pacific Rim. Also
I've
about
seen
giant
that porn.
robots.
I've definitely seen that porn.
Abraham Lincoln versus zombies, not the vampires. That was a totally unrelated property.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
they're zombies.
So basically, they just make knockoffs of already shitty movies and hope people
okay,
will buy
fuck
it
you
for
for
$5.
not googling this.
I guess this is the appropriate point for us to go over the movie that Shitty Cinema watched. 200 M.P.H starts out with two brothers, Rick and Tommy, and we get introduced to their cars right away. Obviously, this is a Tits and Tires Month movie, so we know that it's going to be about vehicles. And Rick drives an RX-7, and Tommy just got a brand new Nissan 350Z.
How did he get a new Nissan 350Z?
And being the opening scene of the movie, they also casually introduced to us that their mom is a stripper.
Very, very casually.
Just right off the bat, that's a thing that we get to learn right away.
You won't take my money I'm trying to make for you, Mom? Maybe I should come to your club and shove it in your G-string.
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna,
a line. That's a real line from the movie.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
dispute that they introduced this casually because that's how they introduced
That's
it.
aggressively.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
let's digress.
With her son saying he was going to stuff money in his mom's G-string.
we did sit
So-
there for a while
so-
wondering.
Kudos to you, Juice. You hit Tits and Tires right there, right off the bat. First
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
Like 4
You
minutes in.
nailed that. That is impressive. That is a Shitty Cinema record. So a street race then happens, obviously, because it's a fucking Tits and Tires movie month, and that's the logical next thing. And Tommy has to race Casey, who is the big bad end guy of the movie.
He's the best looking guy in the movie.
He's got the best
Just
arms.
a crush on him the whole time.
We
did.
want to be held by him, like together.
I wanted him to be the good bad guy until he just went too
Yes.
far.
Well, and he did. He first starts out, he has a Nissan Skyline GTR. It's a monster. Kudos to him. That's an awesome car. And races and beats Tommy in it. However, Tommy loses control after Casey runs his car into him a little bit, and we get an awesome CGI car flip to his
Oh,
See?
man.
It's amazing.
Oh.
The car flips approximately about 1,000 times, give or take. There's no explosion.
His brother got SIDS and died instantly.
Yeah, Rick's brother Tommy dies, and that's the motivation for Rick, our main character. We now cut to Rick in the funeral home, who has a standoff with Casey, who shows up, and they bet pink slips on a race, and so we suddenly get this race crew montage that just joins together.
At the funeral of the guy who just died.
yeah, at the funeral.
Sorry,
funeral.
go
That's
on.
like
Sorry, I should not underplay that scene because he really just shows up to the funeral home and is a fucking dick.
Sorry.
Wasn't one of the pink slips his dead brother's car?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. So Rick suddenly assembles this crew out of nowhere, and then it goes all Need for Speed on us. Interestingly, it's like Need for Speed Underground 12.
Yeah.
And they discuss the stats of the rides, the various speeds and statistics.
Motherfucker, Need for Speed sponsored this.
Yep,
You
see?
just made me watch
See?
a video game movie that wouldn't even
Yep.
call itself a video game movie.
We don't want our name on
Do you
this.
realize what that bar is?
So we have this
man.
Need for Speed seed set up, and then Rick goes back to and this is appropriate for the month, the Titty Club, because he has an Oedipus complex and his girlfriend works at a titty club. See? If you follow the money, Dave, you get to an Oedipus complex.
You find a bunch of sticky ones
You
with
follow-
glitter on them.
Yeah, you follow the money, you end up at a strip club in this movie.
Yeah. So
many times.
we learn that Rick's girlfriend, Claudia, is a stripper because he has an Oedipus complex.
Because most of the female characters in this movie are strippers.
That is true.
True.
There's one that's
true.
not.
That is.
So
Fair enough.
we cut back to them playing Need for Speed, and the car's up, but it's obviously not the same car, and they're tweaking out, they're changing out the rims and adding a giant fin to the back because adding weight makes it super quick, right?
They were worried about it taking
That's how you make a
off.
car faster, Juice. Clearly, you know this. You brought this movie.
This car needs to be faster.
Heavier.
Tie an anchor to
Right,
the bumper.
exactly.
I could
So,
do that.
Help you get around them turns.
Rick takes his new ride out for a joyride, and in true Need for Speed fashion, Dave, hey, who sponsored this? Follow the money, Dave.
Yeah.
Need for Speed. The cops come after him. There's a helicopter just roaming out that's after him.
Oh yeah. Called in by the evil bad cop
Well,
man.
Yeah, so they get away. However, when they park, the cop actually shows up, and it's dirty cop trope.
Ooh, dirty cop. How dirty?
Hilariously dirty.
Ugh.
We've seen him at all of the street races up to this point as the like unofficial cop calling it in to let them know before they get busted.
After establishing that we have this crooked cop here, Rick goes on a quest to get Nas for his RX-7. And he goes and meets up with some guys that hook him up with the Nas system that he trades for. And then we cut back to a titty bar because I don't know if Juice, if you counted how many times we go into titty bars, but that's pretty much every other scene.
8.
And so there's 8. See? Exactly. 8 times. Awesome.
He did count.
We get a conflict at the club, and we learn that Lou, the porn gnome, who is the guy that runs, he's a fucking porn gnome.
Damn, he is a porn
Fight
gnome.
me.
Go on.
He's a porn gnome. So Lou, the porn gnome, doesn't like drama, and it's really important. And so when we get Oedipus Complex, Rick fighting, he kicks Rick out when he's like, there's no problem, right? Then get the fuck out of my bar. Which is why I like Lou, the porn gnome. He's great.
He is honestly probably the most respectable character in this whole... And he's a strip club owner. But
Yeah. So Casey shows up here because, you know...
Not me.
Obviously. Right. Casey the bad guy.
I don't go to
We
those
should make this
kind of
distinction.
titty bars.
So Casey the bad guy shows up, and he's just being a dick to the girls, and he ends up following Claudia, who's Rick's girlfriend, home, you know, Oedipus Complex woman. And by following her home, he chases her in his car on her motorcycle and then knocks her off the motorcycle, and she falls down and then chases her up until Dirty Cop breaks it up.
God, that whole scene was just... I was just waiting for it to be over.
Yeah.
I'm hiding. Yeah, you found me. I'm hiding. You found me. You're going to kill me.
They finish up. We cut back to the car scene. They finish up installing the Nas in the car. It's all hunky-dory. He takes it out for a spin, and it breaks down.
And then...
What? And then the dirty cop shows back up and says, listen, this big race-off that you're going to have with Casey.
Dirty dog.
I'm a dirty dog.
Arr.
You're going to throw that car. You're going to throw that race. You're going to throw that car because you're the fucking Hulk.
All of a sudden, this is a good movie like
Yeah, suddenly
Transformers.
this is good. So he threatens him to throw the race because he's going to bet a bunch of money on it. So Casey takes the car back. They finally get it all fixed up, right? And he goes out with Claudia's girlfriend in the car and gets fucking T-boned. T-boned.
He's being chased by evil Casey.
He is being chased by evil Casey. He gets T-boned.
Because he stops in the middle of an intersection.
Yep. And
He
Casey
gets
pushes
T-boned
his car out.
By a semi.
And
On
Claudia
Claudia's side.
takes the fucking hit. So she gets put in the hospital. And I just want to point out that when she's in the hospital and Rick wants to go see her, the way that happens is because Debbie, Rick's mom, bribes the doctor with a year's worth of free lap dances.
I was just so annoyed at this point. I didn't care about any of the characters, so I was literally more upset about the car that you've been making me care about him fixing up for 30 minutes. You just immediately hit with the semi.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even care about the girlfriend in the hospital.
So Rick then goes and gets his brother's wreck car. They fix that up in just a couple of days, just in time for the great race.
Of course.
They get into the great race, and Casey wrecks his car, and Rick wins.
Oh my God, that was so dramatic.
Yeah.
Dramatic is not a word I'd have chosen, but we got more of the, and I'm going to verbally say air quotes here since you can't see them, great CGI.
Yeah,
For 2011.
chase.
Yeah, this was great CGI for 2001.
2001.
And it all
Maybe.
ends well because all of the characters have a happy ending. Rick gets to go to college, even though he looks like he's 35.
I'm in my
continue.
30s and I'm going back to
All right,
college.
all right, well,
Fuck
well,
you.
I haven't.
Fuck you.
I'm
not getting a
but-
scholarship.
We learned that Casey is going to jail for a long time because not only was he participating in illegal street racing,
Street dick games.
but he had a bunch of fucking drugs in his car while he was doing so.
Well, yeah, it was established
about that.
really early that he was a drug dealer and that he
Right.
was selling people drugs. So conveniently, if I got to run drugs, I might as well race somebody up to the other side
Right,
of the city
like-
anyways.
Okay, I'm drag racing at 8. I'm going to throw a fucking pound of pot out of my window at 801.35 because I'm in your neighborhood and you better be outside. I don't care if little Ricky from down the street catches it. You still owe me $12,000.
Wait. Casey, do you think that's how drug dealing works?
That's how FedEx drug dealing works. Have you ever seen FedEx deliver a package? They don't get out of their fucking car. They just throw it as hard as they can.
This is going to be when Uber gets into weed delivery.
Okay,
Yeah.
if we're going to talk about 200 MPH, we do have to talk about the god-awful CGI that they had
If
in this.
you've seen the film The Incredible Bulk, you've seen
the CGI.
this kind
No,
of
no.
CGI.
Actually, I'm more confused after we started this conversation by the bad CGI in this movie because it looks like something out of like a PS1 era video game.
The Black
roughly.
Bat.
Clearly, they couldn't crash any of the cars that they actually had.
They
So
didn't
when they
own them.
when they needed the cars to be messed up, they just put these shitty PS1 graphics over the top of them green screen.
Okay, wait, but I got to take contention with that. I don't know that it's PS1 because you say PS1 I think Final Fantasy
I
7.
also
that game,
think
like,
Final
fucking
Fantasy
great.
7.
Looked way better than these fucking cars.
Have you watched the cinematics recently?
They're better than these cars, Dave.
Let me settle this. It looked like Cruisin' USA graphics.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And here's my point, and here's why I'm more confused. I forgot this was sponsored by Need for Speed, the video game. They could have legitimately just used footage from the game,
And it would have
looked
looked better.
a million
but they
times
didn't
better.
want their name on it,
Right.
so that's why
put
they
it-
did.
well,
They
credits.
did. Right, they did. Yeah.
They put their name on it, but they should have named it.
It was right up front there.
I guess at least all of the bad CGI was cars and the races, which is really the only thrilling. Okay, I said thrilling. I'm being
Listen,
real generous. The
I'm-
thrilling part of the movie.
Was it?
I don't know. Was
No,
it?
it
I'm
It was
wasn't.
asking.
thrilling to see
I'm
how
not
much
committing to that.
how they did not pay an actual stunt driver. I'm pretty sure.
No, they also immediately with the RX-7 were like, and we're going to rip off all the body panels and build a completely custom body kit that
Yeah,
looks just
right.
kind of like it.
And make sure that you tweak the skirts.
Yeah, because it was going to vacuum the car to the road.
Yep.
That was some science they used.
They say a lot of
Science.
words. There's also a lot of fiddling with engines to
Hey,
fix things.
What if
Yeah,
we put 3
just fiddle.
spoilers on it? Like, we need it to be heavier.
We can
So
also
we should
get it.
just put a spoiler on it.
You've heard of a heavier than air flying machine. We could get this motherfucker airborne.
Okay, are we talking about the stellar driving then? Is that what we're talking about?
Just like the all-wheel drive of when all of the wheels are driving in different directions because of the poor animation. I'm not... listen, I'm in no means a mechanic, but I'm pretty sure that your car can't run away from itself and win a race. I think that needs to be said. Is it, anybody disagree?
No,
I mean,
no.
am I
No,
wrong?
I'm in.
Okay.
And I can't claim to be an automotive expert, but I know sped up footage when I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a difference between a fast car and a car taking a turn at a moderate pace that you just took half the frames
A
out.
car abiding by the rules because you did not get a permit to film that day.
No, in a warehouse district.
Yes.
At the beginning of the movie, when she's yelling at him for having tuned the engine differently, and she's I'm changing it back, and then she just twists a random part under the hood.
Yeah.
Like,
That's how you
we're
tune
done.
an engine.
I don't
Engine
look,
tune.
I don't know cars, but I know that's not what you just said it is.
Why does it always take 2.5 hours every time I drop it off?
Right, that does not make sense.
Either
They'll-
you're amazing or you're full of shit.
Right, or somebody point out what I'm supposed to be twisting here.
Still have no idea how any of this relates to each
Neither
other.
do they, so it's okay.
Okay.
Neither did this
Cool.
film.
I feel like that would be a detail that I would write in thinking I sounded smart.
Now, every
Like,
once in a while,
50
somebody
PSI.
somebody just looked up a random car term and threw it in there. Like, Nas, the kids like that, right?
And you're making a movie and you're trying to reach a broader a fucking audience while being edgy at the same time. So instead of writing interesting character, be a dick about everything.
And everyone.
Casual racism. These are not our views at Shitty Cinema. These are the views of 200 MPH. So let's just fucking get right in there.
Drifting is an Asian people thing. They
Yep.
called that out at one point.
All of them are born with it.
Yeah, like drifting, isn't that one of your people's thing?
I am
yeah.
0.2% drifter according to 23andme.com.
To the same guy, they later were surprised he didn't like kimchi, and I don't think he was Korean, so
No, he was
that's another
not.
one.
He was definitely
just-
not Korean.
And these didn't need to be in the movie. They took time out to throw this in there.
That's like if a British person started yelling at me like, "What do you mean you don't like maple syrup?" Excuse me?
It wasn't specific.
Fuck you.
Yeah. it wasn't specifically racism, but they spent a lot of time going on about how the RX-7 is a fairy car, and that's a weird association.
I don't get that.
I have never heard that.
It's a legitimate tuner vehicle.
Right.
You can do some great stuff
Okay,
with it.
I
out
don't
of
know
it.
what that is. The letters you said in the car. The only car I consider a fairy car is if it has like actual fairies painted on it.
I'm thinking like, the Volkswagen Beetles that actually look like ladybugs.
Oh,
That's a
those
fucking
are
fairy
so
car.
Cute.
Exactly. Thank you. That's a fairy car.
Am I a fairy? Anyway, 200 M.P.H. just went in there with the fucking Nas on.
Yep.
Not only were
the
Asians
Nas that they got
attacked,
from the Cholos.
the cholos, yes.
who are the most stereotypical possible depiction you could have of a Latin gang.
Aesthetically.
None of the buttons were buttoned. I don't believe you. I don't
hardest
believe
No.
you, sir.
So they just didn't sound or look the part.
And
Well, I mean, look the part. I should say, they had the aesthetic, but not the mannerisms.
no one did.
Yeah, this whole
All of
movie.
the acting sucked.
Okay.
The only actor in
Touche.
this movie that I felt like was a good representation of his character was Casey, the
Thank
bad guy.
you.
Get it, Casey.
You fucking
Yes, the Latin gang they went to talk to, instead of doing the typical, like, I'm a gangster kind of lean, the guy the whole time moved his head like when you whistle at a dog.
I was getting motion
And he
sickness.
could not
Yeah,
say
he's-
more than like 5 words without looking at a cue card every single time. And he would have these big, long fucking cuts. It just made you feel
It
very
sound- yeah,
awkward.
Did like William Shatner.
Yeah, it was a really
Was
racist William
reading-
Shatner.
It was like waiting to
Oh.
hear someone like that, like, takes a long time to talk, or maybe has like had a stroke or something. Where you're like, okay, I already know what you're gonna say. Just spit it out. Spit it out.
And apparently he's the only person that knows how to put Nas on an RX-7.
On the planet.
Like the
Yeah.
only, the,
The
I
whole
once heard
planet.
of a man who was able to accomplish it. Like, it's not fucking rocket science.
You know, there's this thing
We've-
called Yellow Pages.
It's alchemy, Dave.
No, but this
It's alchemy, not
It's
rocket
alchemy.
science.
we've already established that these guys absolutely know nothing about cars.
Let's just
I
say
wrote the movie.
shitty cinema knows more about cars than this movie, which is a bad thing
That's a
because
really bad
I
thing.
would not recommend the shitty cinema mechanic crew.
No, but you know who I would recommend? The Shitty Cinema Porn Crew. Because that's where every single scene of this movie was filmed, was on a fucking porn set. Fight me. I can prove it empirically.
That's where the sets that they were driving around were porn
Yep.
studios.
The house
that's
that
right.
the house that they were that they held the wake in for the dead brother. I'm pretty sure I've accidentally masturbated to that fireplace before. I was like, I know that fireplace. Someone
Your
was
looks
spanked
familiar.
by that before. But now we're celebrating a dead kid. Okay, all right. Well, it's getting weird. I like the original movie better.
That's
Most of the extras were porn quality acting as well. I mean, most of the main characters.
Most,
too,
I was gonna
but-
say, and the stars.
like
Yeah.
I said, this is just car porn meets revenge plot.
And it had a similar dialogue structure, like just people just kind of shouting exposition until the next air quotes action scene. Yeah, the strip club was actually the least porn set in the whole movie.
That was the most realistic
Yeah,
thing in the
actually.
film.
And that's unfortunate.
On the plus side, we got a lot of Lou the porn gnome, who was great.
He was
God,
great.
I loved Lou.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's one of the few characters that
Listen.
were
Yeah.
redeemable.
Lou's the owner of the strip club.
Right?
He's like 5 foot flat. Whatever you're picturing when you hear the descriptor porn gnome, it's
You're not
probably
wrong.
correct.
Really
You're not
hairy
wrong.
chest.
He forces Ricky's mom to take some time off towards the end of the movie because he's like, you lost a kid. One of your good friends / daughter-in-law at the titty bar is in the hospital. You need to take some time off, which is a good guy move. Bad guy move, you're not getting paid time off, and he's never going to give you dental insurance.
And also,
fucking ever.
he doesn't listen to her when she complains about the drug dealer.
Are you
following his
complaining
employees
Sexual
home.
assault.
Well, yeah.
about this guy Casey giving us a lot of money so he can assault the girls? Did anybody report
Right.
it? Were you reporting it? Well, that didn't count because I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you.
Porn
Okay,
gnomes
I
are
can't.
famous.
I can't defend Lou the porn gnome's ignorance of that shit. However, he does have good reason for laying her off. He makes the point that I can't have an exotic dancer on the stage that is in mourning. That's not. You don't go to a strip club for the mourning
Listen.
stripper.
Okay,
Everybody
but
mourns differently. I push it down with brown, and I can
Do
get
you-
weird,
You know,
and that sells.
when
So
my-
wait.
when my
is
ex-
that weird sex?
no, it's
It's weird stripping.
weird stripping. It's like when my ex left me and I'd go to the strip club. I really liked that one girl who really didn't want to be there. There was something about her demeanor.
This is me
Am I-
in mourning.
Am I the only one?
Hey, tonight, instead of taking all my clothes off, I'm going to peel all my acrylic nails off. I'm going to cry to some Depeche Mode and peel my acrylic nails off.
Please leave them on.
here's my question: if Lou the porn gnome
Yeah.
does not want to have a stripper who's in
Uh-huh.
mourning, where the fuck was he all those other times we saw sad ass strippers in his club throughout this movie?
Every time the main character's girlfriend and him got in a fight, she would go sad strip at the club.
It was
And
the
it
most
was-
Yeah.
fucking lackluster limp noodling up there.
And it's just her barely waving her hips while, you know that face when someone's just about to start crying hard?
Or roll their eyes really hard. It's like in between there.
You don't know which way it's going, but she's right on that cliff for a while.
I know, it's wonderful.
I know what to get you next Christmas.
Can
I'm
someone
just
get him a
saying.
blanket or something? Just throw over him.
I have some
One
pillow
over here.
stuffing
Hey.
over there.
We have been dancing around the mom boobs. We need to address that.
Slow
And I am
dancing.
Like-
sorry.
Sad dancing.
I'm sorry that I have
Sad
to be the one to
slow
bring it up.
dancing.
We really have, though. Okay, so I don't know how I feel about them kicking me right in the teeth right in the beginning that she's a stripper, and then us seeing her strip.
We were curious
Debbie
the
is a
entire
stripper.
time. Is that really their mom? That is
That's
not
what the
their
movie-
mom.
Yeah,
And then
so
we-
Debbie is Rick
we
and
get to
Tommy's
see-
mom.
I know it is. We didn't believe it at first,
That's true.
and then we get to see her tits,
I did.
and I believed it less.
And Rick, this scene sucks because
Okay,
this
wait,
sucks for a
hold
bunch
on.
of
What
reasons.
can you add that makes this scene worse?
I've got more.
I
Go
got
with
one
it,
that
Dave.
really annoyed me because Rick walks in and his mom's just getting off the stage and her tits are out and he reacts to Ma and holds up his hand. Bitch, your mom's a stripper. The fuck did you think you were going to see when you walked in here?
Okay.
She didn't come to your fucking job with her tits out. You came to her
Right.
job where she gets paid to have her tits out, and you're like, ew, mom.
Though I have to interrupt, if she did show up to his job, a street racing gang, with her tits out, she'd probably be really popular.
She'd
Yeah, that's-
probably
that's a
make
good point.
more money than she does on the day shift
Yeah.
at the cat place.
Oh, yeah,
Or
by the
what
way,
is it? The
every-
cat shop? No.
No, the candy
Yeah.
cane. The candy cane.
It's the caddy. I don't know. It's a strip club in a strip mall.
I didn't
That's
pay
not
attention
a
to
good sign.
it.
Anyway.
Strip club in a strip mall.
But it was so annoying because she's like, and she like grabs something to cover her tits. No, fuck you. I'm at work right now. My tits stay out.
Because that's my money.
Also, dudes might come up and give me money while I'm arguing with you because I'm talking very animatedly and they're bouncing.
You know, I was really into the sad stripping, but I'm starting to feel the anger.
Yeah, anger stripping. Like, how the fuck are you going to come up into my work and tell me what to do with my nipples, Ricky?
For
These
herself.
nipples fed you for 3 days before I decided I weren't going to let you chew them up. And you're on the fucking bottle ever since. And you're fine. You're not dead like your brother. What? He's not dead in real life. He's not a real person. Listen, they get really fucking mean sometimes. It's a 2 p.m. day shift and she's got bunions.
It is the
They alluded to her bunions at some point.
Yeah,
She's like,
that's true.
like, do you need a day? I'm like, no, my bunions aren't septic yet, honey.
It's the day shift
I've got a lot of life in me.
in every scene.
It's always the
Yeah.
day shift at the titty bar.
There was a
They don't work nights.
no, they don't. They're not open during the nights. It's a strip mall.
They're damn it, you're so right. You're so right.
That's 9.
While your wife is getting a pedicure done, you can go to the titty bar and then meet her back at Fuddruckers.
Oh,
What?
Fuddruckers.
Actually, that's a wonderful business model.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture a Fuddruckers in the same complex as a strip club that's
It's-
open during the day.
It's definitely in Florida.
What's in between them is what I want to figure out.
Florida is in between them.
A golf store.
Damn it.
and they have to sell bacon and eggs. So, well, Dave,
Juice.
we have sat and we have
Asshole.
gone 200. We have sat here and we've gone 200 miles an hour together.
322 kph together.
200 miles per hour. 200 M.P.H. Would you watch it again?
I called you out right off the bat. This is The Asylum? No. So that's automatic pass on anything they make. But this one specifically, the graphics were so terrible that in and of itself was almost worth it, just for how proud they were of these terrible graphics. It really felt like they hired someone to make all of these graphics, and the designer sent over like, hey, here's a low-res preview. I'll send you over the full files when you pay me. And they went, ha-ha, sucker, and just used that.
They keep falling for this every time.
But the porn dialogue and the shouted exposition and the strip club for the sake of it were all just too goddamn much. So no, I'm absolutely not going to watch this again. There are much better Tits and Tires movies out there, so I can't suffer through this.
I can't argue with that.
No. Casey, how about you? 200 miles per hour or 322 kilometers per hour. Would you watch it again?
Well, let me walk you down that road, because it's a long and winding road.
Don't you mean drive us down that road?
Well, yeah, why don't you drive us?
No, because
You can pull the handbrake. Can I pull the handbrake?
you can't pull the handbrake. 200 MPH was such a fucking gem. You've already talked about the amazing graphics and paper mache props we had in this movie, but there was so much we didn't get a chance to touch on. Number one of the strippers in the movie is a motorcycle enthusiast, hits a parked car, and just does a barrel roll and keeps running. Keeps
Yes.
running.
I forgot about that.
I need to get to that level of physical fitness. America's strippers need to be in the Olympics, because that's fucking fantastic. Secondly, one of my most favorite things about this film was Bad Zaddy Cop. We did not get to talk about Bad Zaddy Cop enough. This is the dirty cop that helped the bad guy run all of his races and everything, tortured the good guys, tried to bribe them into losing races, blah, 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 blah. But he had a particular hard-on for the lead actor in this movie, Ricky, where he pulls him over, throws him against the car, and we were like, ooh, it's happening. Oh, my God, yes, do it. And
He's raping him.
He was not, Juice. You cannot just throw that out there.
He literally,
You had your turn to say controversial shit. He was not raping him. He just said, coming from someone whose balls are in my hand. Okay.
I mean,
we're working up to something.
That's a message from me, the man who has your balls in my hand.
That's what it was. I'm going to use that later tonight, but in a British accent while I'm choking you. Write it down.
I guess I'm okay with
the
that.
man who has.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to be
I guess I'm okay with that.
dirty
That's
cop,
fine.
zaddy,
Whatever.
fantasy, whatever.
I'm okay with that.
He
Continue.
was such a wonderful addition, and I'm sad we didn't get to spend more time on him. On the downside, there was the whole fucking we have picture frames without any pictures in them in the house porn set where we're mourning our dead son. He's dead, so we have to cut him out of all of the pictures.
Immediately,
which is how I like to cut people out of my life. So I think everything in this film jived with my soul. So yes, I would watch 200 MPH again. Yes. Yeah.
Betrayal.
I'll fuck you up, Dave. I loved it. It was great. It was everything bad that I wanted in my life. Jay, would you watch this again?
We also didn't mention Debbie, who was Rick's mom's friend, who gave her awful advice. But what was awesome about her is that she dressed up in a pencil dress with this gorgeous fur fucking tiny little jacket and looked like Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The one who
Another-
just hangs out at the strip club.
Right,
She
right.
wasn't working.
No. She just hung out and was a friend and gave awful fucking advice and then good advice and then
that's called the den mother.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, Juice. Zsa Zsa Gabor might have been a den mother. I gotta agree with Casey. We also didn't talk about Daddy Cop, which was fucking fantastic. I get that this was an asylum film, Dave, but they actually unintentionally nailed it with this.
Yeah.
This is some fucking shitty cinema. This is what we're here for. Yes, I would watch it again.
Yes!
Yes, I would.
Yes!
Juice, I want to ask you, this is your movie. You brought this. Tits and Tires Month, 200 M.P.H. Would you watch it again?
You know, asylum films I feel like are on a special level of shitty, like a Neil Breen film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Give it to me.
As much as they hurt and they cringe, I really hate myself. And I love the way that makes me feel. Yes, I would sit down and watch 200 miles per hour again.
Dave, you're a bad
How's
man.
that
and
island
we just
feel, bitch?
proved it empirically.
There are 8 scenes in a strip club. Was anyone expecting Juice to say anything else?
That's a good point. Okay, touche.
Yes, I would watch the 8 scenes in a strip club and the unnecessary cartwheels off of motorcycles. All of it was wonderful, even though the graphics were terrible. I see where they were going. There's no doubt about it.
See, I'd have given them points for the cartwheel off the motorcycle if they'd shown us that. But they didn't. They showed us her riding a motorcycle. They showed us a van. And then they showed us her jumping from behind the van.
Well, you got to use your imagination, Dave.
Dave, what are you bringing for us next week?
I'm hoping that I'm bringing something a little bit better with the Transporter Refueled.
That is what the one.
Which,
that
yeah,
series?
which one is this?
This is the 4th one in the Transporter series.
I didn't know there were more than 2.
There's 4, and this is the one they couldn't even get Jason Statham back for.
Oh.
So it stars.
Wow.
This is
and
going to be great.
I know I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Ed Skine. He was the villain in the first Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Francis.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be all right then.
It's not.
No.
I
What
hate
are you?
his face is so arrogant.
Yeah.
Ew.
He's the transporter. It's not even a good
Ew,
transporter
he's
film.
not even a bad guy?
No, he's the hero of the film.
Fuck, I don't want him. I'm not rooting for the good guy.
I'm coming into this. I've seen it before, and it's got 2 fight scenes that almost make it worth
You are
it.
a
So I'm
fucking
excited for
trash human being.
it. Of course I am.
God.
Thank you all for being with us while we enjoyed some movies. Join us next week where we continue Tits and Tires Month and we watch the Transporter Refueled, the 4th Transporter. But for tonight, let's shut out the lights and go home.